sander disc thingy. It's actually a pretty handy little tool. I typically use, as shown, the belt vertically with the table. There's on occasion to use it horizontally because of my table, and I've never bothered to install the fence. Oops. Which, using this horizontally without a stop, I mean, I've launched a few things across the shop a couple times, but I just don't use it enough this way to spend the time to fix it. I always had some ideas mounting it where it would be on this side and I could flip it out of the way so I could still use it vertically and not have to mess with my table. But I started looking at it and I realized that setting it up like this would be an easy matter. Just take this off by changing this bolt to a bolt that sticks out and then use a wing nut. It'd be just a lot simpler to take this on and off when I rarely need it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this apart. I don't do metric, so I'm going to re-tap this. There's a nut. See if you can see it. But the body is tapped for whatever metric size this is, which is really close to 5/16. So I'm just going to re-tap that 5/16. Run a bolt out, and then I can use the wing nut. This has little tabs on it that go under the thing, but as long as this is up, it doesn't really need to be attached to these for use. I use a vacuum for dust control, so I'm not taking this stuff off, which does make belt changing a pain, but dust control's important to me. Anyway, that's what we're doing. Making a quick change. Stop so I can take this on or off without having to use tools and messing with this thing. And to get inside, to ring the bolt, taking the cover off. Hopefully I don't block the camera too much. There are 6 screws that hold on the back cover, and the only reason that you would leave this on is dust collection. Because this has to be removed to change the belt, and without this on here, it's pretty simple to slide the belt off. But I don't use this for metal, I use it for wood, and it makes a horrendous amount of dust. I just recently modified this, welded on these 2 pieces of 1/2-inch flat bar to bring the cover out, because in order to get enough air to effectively draw sawdust out, it sucked the belt into the cover because it was so close. I opened up the ports, but previously literally ground through the cover and the port fell off. So we added these pieces of flat bar to extend this out about a half inch. Anyway, that's beside the point. And you have to move these screws for this bottom plastic. So you can see that changing the belt is a little tedious, but it's not that big a deal. Because normally I just run this one belt and never change belts. It would be nice if it was easier to change grits, but normally I don't. So let me move you here for a second. There's the boss for the thread that we're going to retap. And 5/16 tap. Probably if I was to that is so close to 5/16. It's. I guess I should have tried the bolt. It might be 5/16 because that didn't cut any material at all. Just threaded right in there. Where's the bolt? No sense being silly. That should be plenty. I guess we're still in frame. Okay, so between the lock washer and the Loctite, shouldn't be an issue with this coming loose. I'm going to move you here and see what down inside there. This metal feels awfully soft. Yee. I'm gonna call that good. Lock washer's collapsed. That's good. So, studied. Okay. Almost always, when I had this apart, I start to put it back together without the belt on. I don't know what the deal is. Rotation. This piece, the bottom piece, normally I can loosen it enough to get the belt off without actually dropping the screws, because getting the screws back in on the bottom flange can be a little painful. Do the one you can see first. Hold it up there. None of these screws on this machine do you want to reef on. Spin in 5 minutes. Put a bunch of screws in, but I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there who've never changed one of these belts, and might be helpful. And the rest of you, myself included, could fast forward through this. Of course, when I pulled it apart, all the screws fell, and they're kind of like all over the place, so I'm sure I lost at least one. And right off the bat, I'm short a bunch of screws. Huh. So I may get to pause you while I roll around the floor trying to find them. Oops. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, Houston, we're going to pause while I find the rest of the screws. Typically, I'll stretch the plastic instead of removing these screws. Loosely, so we can adjust everything to get everything back together. Oops, here we go again. Do these ones. Suppose I should have some loud, obnoxious music in the background. Voila, simple as that. So, Just want to ensure this is high enough that it doesn't rub the belt. The bottom edge where those tabs are rounded, so it shouldn't catch even if it hits. But it's actually pretty effective. I've seen a lot of guys screw on a bigger block of wood, which really wouldn't be a bad idea. But like I said, I don't really use it like this very often. But now I have no excuse, or only myself to blame when I launch it across the room because I'm too lazy to get a wrench to pull this off. So, cool. Quick change. Welded a little spacer so we can just store the fence on the sander.